a sudden it got very quiet. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Solel Congregation. It's good to have you with us this morning. I see a lot of people that are new to us this morning. So, first of all, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. I know that many of you are here this morning as we celebrate Kai's Bar Mitzvah, and we're really thrilled to be together on this Shabbat. I'm Rabbi Audrey Pollack, and before we get started, let's just go through a couple of brief announcements that might help you follow the service this morning. So if you haven't been to Solel before, or even if you have, we pray out of this book, the Siddur, which is in the seat pocket located near you, either behind you or in front of you. And if you are familiar with Hebrew, you know that we read from left to right. No, we don't. We read from right to left. If you're not familiar with Hebrew, that's why your book opens from right to left, because we're reading from right to left. If you're not familiar with Hebrew, no problem. Most of our liturgy, most of our prayers are rendered into English characters. It's called transliteration, but it allows you to read Hebrew relatively easily. I actually think it's harder, but I can read Hebrew without following the Hebrew characters. And we invite you to join us in any way that you feel comfortable this morning, singing, praying. You can sing La 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 if you don't know the words, and joining with us in the responsive readings. So we also welcome those that are joining us on live stream this morning, and it's delightful to have you with us praying as well. It's great to be all together. And we're going to enjoy this Shabbat because it's really a special day. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and it's exciting that we are here. So one more thing before we start. Kai, come on up here and stand with me. For many people, events don't happen unless there's a photo of them. So, if you have a cell phone with you this morning, you're invited to take it out and take a photo. Turn this way.
We'll send them out.
You're going to be famous.
Thanks for being here.
And I think we got folks over here. All right, send all of those to Dan and Laura and Solel, and we'll figure out which was the best one. Now that you are internet famous, I'm going to ask you to either put your phone on silent or to turn it off so that we're not disturbed during the service. Don't worry. We're still here, even though it isn't on film at the moment, although we're going streaming live. So we're going to begin this morning with the singing of Ma Tovu, which is on page 71. Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishknotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. When we awaken in the morning, we say different blessings, thanking God for our bodies and for our souls. So let's join together on the top of page 73, the blessing for the soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. The soul that you have given me is pure. And you'll note that all of the syllables at the end of each of those words end on an open syllable. They end on a breath. Breath and soul. So we breathe in this morning the beauty, the joy of this day of Shabbat, the beauty of our celebration of Kai this morning, and for being here together. Every morning is also a new opportunity. It's a new day to learn and to study and to apply that learning to the way that we live our lives, the path of Torah. So we turn to the top of page 74 for the blessing that ends with the words La'asok b'divrei Torah, for engaging, for soaking of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam asher hishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah b'divrei Torah Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam asher hishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah b'divrei Torah. Elu devarim she'en lahem shi'ur she'adam ochel peirotehem ba'olam hazeh va'keren kayemet lo le'olam haba ve'elu hein. These are the mitzvot which have no limit. One eats of their fruit at this time, yet their full effect is without measure. Kibud av ve'em, to honor father and mother. Ugemilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. V'hashkamat beit hamidrash shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study daily. V'hachnasat orchim, to welcome the stranger. Uvikur cholim, to visit the sick. V'hachnasat chatan v'chala, to bring marriage partners to the chuppah. Ulvayat hamet, to accompany the dead to burial. V'iyun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. The Talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all. We're going to join together now on page 79 with the words of Birchot Shebachol Yom, the blessings for each day. And as we chant these blessings, you can chant them either in English or in Hebrew. So the first one, I'll do the first one in Hebrew and the second one in English. You can choose which one you want to do. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam asher natan lesech v'bina L'avchin bin yom u'vin layla. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam. You have made me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai You support our people with courage. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Otei Yisrael v'tifarah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hanoten li'aviv koach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ha'ma'avir sheina me'inai. Especially on Shabbat morning, we sing extra psalms and songs of praise. So we're going to turn to Psalm 145, the words of the Ashrei on page 84. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelucha selah. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Turn together to the bottom of page 89 for Psalm 150. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah, hallelujah. Let every soul, let every breath praise you, the Eternal One. Hallelujah, 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 Please join with me on the bottom of page 92 with the words of the Chatzi Kaddish as we move from Sukkei de Zimra to the next section of our service. Yitkadah v'yitkadah shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlik malchutei. L'chol ויתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלוש שמי לקדושה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונעמתה תמירה בעלמה We rise in body or in spirit for the words of the Baruch Hu. Please be seated. On page 95 in the middle of the page, we continue responsively in the English of Yotzer or the prayer for creation. John, would you lead us there?
We praise you, eternal God, who presence full of creation, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and gives life to all. With compassion, you illumine the world and its inhabitants. Through your goodness, creation is continually renewed.
How you have varied your works, all of them were made with wisdom. The universe is filled with your creative power. The stars and planets themselves radiate praise for you.
Cause a new light to shine upon Zion, and may we be worthy to behold its splendor.
We praise you, Eternal One, Creator of light. And the words of Ahava Rabbah in the middle of page 98. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha, enlighten us with your Torah and inspire us to embrace your mitzvot. V'ha'er einenu b'toratecha, v'da'avek einenu b'mitzvotecha, Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. We praise you, Eternal One, who chooses your people Israel with love. We turn now to the words of Shema and Ve'ahavta on page 101. These words which come to us from the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy. We speak in the morning when we wake up, when we lie down at night. They are the first words that we intone in the morning and the last words on our lips at the end of our lives. They remind us to pay attention, as Kai is going to sign for us in a moment, because they're really about listening or paying attention and letting those words fall into our hearts. Please rise. You may be seated. As we continue with words of redemption, leading us into the words of Michamocha, we're on page 103 with the words of Emet V'Yatziv. Linda, would you lead us there?
Emet V'Yatziv, true and certain it is that you are God.
As we yearn for certainty in a constantly changing world, enable us to find its source in you.
Nachon v'chayam, firm and enduring is your name throughout all generations.
May our trust in you preserve us for generations to come.
Ahu v'chavi, beloved and precious are your teachings to our ancestors and to us.
By observing the traditions of our people, may we come to meet you as our ancestors did and bring your presence into our lives.
Noravi Adir, awesome and majestic is the redemptive power that you have displayed to the people of Israel.
Our people witnessed your presence when you delivered us from slavery to freedom. And beholding your redeeming power, we discovered our own capacity for tikkun olam, the mending of the world.
Moses lifted his staff and showed us the power of trust. Waves of the sea swelled apart, and we crossed over to the shore of freedom.
Miriam lifted her timbrel and showed us the power of song. Waves of voices swelled together, and we gave thanks to you for the gift of freedom.
Tehilot le'el elyon, like our ancestors, we raise our voices in song to the supreme God, the source of blessing.
And we sing these same words that our ancestors, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang at the shore of Freedom Sea. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 Please join with me at the bottom of page 105, the words of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. With prayer, we invite God's presence to suffuse our spirits and let God's will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, or mend a broken bridge, or rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. At the top of page 106, we enter into this next section of our tefillah, of our prayers, the words of the Amidah. So we're going to join together in Sur Yisrael on the third word Kumah, which means rise. Literally, we're going to rise and chant together the first three blessings of the Amidah aloud. The Avot v'Imahot, God of our ancestors. Givurot, which reminds us of the strength and might of the eternal. And the Kedusha, words of holiness. We'll continue then silently, and when you reach page 119, you can resume your seat. Sur Yisrael, Kumah Bezrat Yisrael, Uveichinu Lecha Yehuda veYisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael, Adonai Tzvot Titachu fi Yagid Tehillatcha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yisrael, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'Hanura, El Elyon, Gomelech Hasadim Tovim, V'Kanei Hakol, V'Zorech Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mei Geula v'Meinehem, L'Ma'an Shemo Me'ah. Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Adonai, Mechayech Atah, Rav Mashiach, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayech Rachamim Rabim, Solel Novlim, Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, U'Kayim Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Milchamo Chabad Gevurot, U'Mido Omecha, Melech B'mitum Cholei, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Nehemata V'Yachayot Achol, Baruch Atah Adonai, B'Cholei Hakol. Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishimo tov yishmei marom, Kakatuv b'yad nevi'echa, V'kara zeh el zeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, La'aretz kevodo. Hadir, Hadireinu, Adonai, Adoneinu, Mahadir Shimcha b'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai milchot. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshiach Yashmienu, Berachamav leinei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Please be seated. On page 120. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us and all Israel and all the world.
Shalom.
Please join us now on page 125 for Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the order for the reading of Torah on Shabbat morning, which we will call upon Kai to read from the Torah for the first time as a Bar Mitzvah this morning. What a wonderful simcha. On page 125, Arlene, would you lead us at the top of the page?
May your eyes sparkle with the light of Torah, and your ears hear the music of His words. May the space between each letter of the scroll bring warmth and comfort to your soul.
May the syllables draw holiness from your heart, and may the holiness be gentle and soothing to you and all God's creatures.
May your study be passionate and meaning bear more meaning until light itself arrays itself to you as a dazzling wedding feast.
And may your conversation, even of the commonplace, be a blessing to all who listen to your words and see the Torah glowing on your face. So at the bottom of page 126, we rise to take the Torah from the Ark, and let's call upon Samara and friends to come up and open the Ark for us, and for Kai's family to come up as we pass the Torah through the generations. So Kai, before we do the Shema together, let's invite your family to come up to the bima here, as we're going to pass the Torah to you. You are the next link in the chain of tradition. So Dan and Lara, why don't you come down here? And we have grandparents starting on this end. You want to come up one more step? There we go. All right, so Kai, this morning, today is a very special occasion in your life, but also in the life of your family. As you become the next link in the chain of the tradition, we pray that the Torah may always be a guide to you, that you may study its words and learn from its teachings, and also learn from the Torah the teachings of those who have come before you. So as you become Bar Mitzvah today, we symbolically pass the Torah to you through the generations. Got it? Okay. Let's join together in Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Please be seated. Find yourself. Stand here.
No, you stay seated.
So this morning, our Torah portion comes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, beginning with verse 10. And that's Parshat Ki Tetzeh. You can find it in the newer commentary, and if you have the new one, it just has the word Torah written down the binding. We have two sets of commentaries here. So if you're looking in the newer one, that's on page 1332. If you have the older commentary, which has all 5 books written down the spine, you're on page 1499. So again, that's Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 10. Page 1332 in the new commentary. Page 1499 in the old commentary.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'naten lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Lo tavo el beito la'avot avoto bachutz ta'amod v'ha'ish asher ata nosei vo yotzi eleha et ha'avot hachutza ve'im ish ani hu lo tishkav be'avoto hashev tashiv lo et ha'avot kevo hashemesh be'sahav be'salmato uve'raheha ulha tihei tzedakah lifnei Adonai Elohecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet V'haye olam nata b'tuchenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvora.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Baruch Adonai Hamvora Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Lo ta'asho sahir ani ve'evyom me'aheha o migerha asher be'artzeha b'shareha b'yomo titain sifaron velo tavo alav hashemesh ki ani hu ve'elav hu nosei et nafsho ve'elav velo yumtu al velo yidkrav Aleha al Adonai v'haya v'hachet lo yumtu avot al banim uvanim lo yumtu al avot ish beheto yumatu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'haye olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. Well done.
Ya'amad ha'matbiya, Danya ben Zephyr Edna.
Please rise as the Torah is lifted. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael avi Adonai le'yad Moshe. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe vezot HaTorah. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe, vezot HaTorah lifnei bnei Yisrael, vezot HaTorah avi Adonai v'yad Moshe, vezot HaTorah, vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe, vezot HaTorah, vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe, vezot HaTorah lifnei bnei Yisrael, vezot HaTorah avi Adonai v'yad Moshe, vezot HaTorah, vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe, vezot HaTorah. Please be seated. Our Haftarah reading for this Shabbat is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, beginning at the beginning with verse 1. And you can find that in your Chumash, in the Torah commentary on page 1345, in the newer commentary, or page 1612. So 1345 or page 1612. We are now in the fifth of the 7 haftarot of consolation that lead us between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah, which means the new year is coming soon.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem hanemarim ba'emet Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'imviei ha'emet v'tzedek Rani akara lo yalada Pitzchirina Vitzahali lo hala Kirabim B'nei Shomema Mibnei Ve'ula Amar Adonai Harechivi Mekom Ohalei Variot Mishkanotayich Yatul Al Tachsohi Ha'arihi Metorai V'tedotai Hazeki Ki Yamin Usmo Tivrotzi Vitzarei Goyim Yirosh Ve'arim Nesha'amot Yoshivu Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Tzur Kol HaOlamim Tzadik Bechol HaDorot Ha'el HaNe'eman Ha'omer Ve'yotzei Hamdaber Ukayei Shekol Devarav Emet V'tzedek Al HaTorah Ve'al HaVodah Ve'al Hanvim Ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha V'limnucha Lahakol Ultifaret Al Hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim La Umvarchim Ota Yitbarach Shimha Befi Kol Hai Tamid Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Mazel tov, simon tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simon tov, simon tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simon tov, simon tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simon tov. Yehelanu, 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 Tov l'chol Yisrael. 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 Mazal tov. Beautifully done. I invite you now to join us on page 133 for the words of Misha Beirach, as we ask blessing upon those in need of healing of body and healing of spirit. In our community this morning, especially, we are praying for Sue Norton, Jeff Copeland, Harvey Friedman, Wolf Walker, Shirley Herman, Esther Vuchenmarkt, Rick Valentine, Marlene Friedman, Jack Kudlatz, Suzanne Scher-Stimson, Bernie McLennan, Harriet Lockman, Nicola Proetti, Eliyahu Ben Yitzhak Vasara, Rebecca Boabill, Parker Kaiko, Philip Shepard, Carl Katz, Nicole Hansen, Raina Rowan, Gilan Naruzi, Madeline Kitson, Kathy Kitson, Dee Hickey, Lorraine DaCosta, Adela Tsur, Ann Steinbeck, Evelyn Tyndall, Amanda Schenk, Daniel Black, Jean Elizabeth Pitt, Shmuel Ben Devora, Pauline Portnoy, and Patty Bryce. And we invite you to add the names of those for whom you are praying this Shabbat, either speaking them out loud or holding those names in your heart. As we join in these words together, we pray that God will bring to them comfort and strength. Turn now to page 136 as we rise to return the Torah to the Ark.
Hallelujah.
So we now call upon Kai as a Bar Mitzvah to share some words of Devar Torah, words of wisdom.
Today I'm reading from Kita Se. Reading this portion makes me think about social justice. Even thousands of years ago, social justice was still something people thought about. You would think that social justice would be a more modern topic, but no. This portion has lots of examples of it. Laws relating to lending money to others, not barging into the borrower's house, demanding the money, but to set up an agreement with patience. If a person you loaned either money or an item and they need it, then you cannot take it back. And even if you need it, you can borrow it back, but by the end of the day, you must give it back to them. This further demonstrates a level of patience we must practice. If we bring this into more modern terms, consider how the instant gratification of social media and how this affects you in your everyday interactions with people, and how if you give someone even your time and attention, do not do it with the expectation of instant return. My father told me a quote from an author, Zig Ziglar, a world's famous sales trainer. You can get everything you want in life if you help others get what they want. Something to consider when you are setting out to help others in this world. How to treat others, how to treat the people that work for you to make sure their pay is fair. The Torah makes a point of saying how even if they are not the same religion or are not like you, to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe while working. In today's lens, this would be equal pay rights for men and women and anti-discrimination laws. Many workplaces have equity policies that have them seek out LGBTQIA+, or Aboriginal candidates for jobs. The Torah portion talks about not taking advantage of the stranger or the fatherless and speaks to how to treat the disadvantaged in our society. In modern times, one should have access to welfare money or simple things like accessible public buildings and transit, interpreters for the hard of hearing, or subtitles on videos. One should give food to the needy by leaving the corners of our fields untouched, or not reap trees for those who need it more. Nowadays, that would look like donating food to a food bank for people who need it. One of the laws talked about the punishment of the crimes of the parents cannot be imposed upon the child, or vice versa. This definitely tracks back to our modern justice system. The social welfare laws that we enjoy day to day here in Canada have created a fair and caring community. The Jews wanted to create a new society that was opposite to the one during the time they were slaves. During the time they were slaves was a hard and punishing time, and they were outsiders. My great Zadie was captured in Lodz, Poland at 12 years old in the first days of World War II and survived his time in 3 concentration camps. If it were not for his ingenuity and resourcefulness, I would not be here today. After the war, it was Canada doing the right thing by allowing those displaced to come here and start a new life. World War II was another time in history that was a hard and punishing time for Jews. Right now, at the time of writing this Devar Torah, there is again a war in Europe, and we see examples of countries doing the right thing, coming to the aid of our fellow humans. Our Torah, when seen through the modern lens, can help us be leaders in the world and step up to do the right thing and use our influence on the world stage to get other countries to do the same. My job now as a Bar Mitzvah is to become a good leader. The end.
Mazel tov again, Kai. Beautifully done. And thank you for your Devar Torah. Really insightful this morning. I think especially in the times that we're living through. And these are not easy times for you to be growing up in, I don't think, for any young person. But what Torah teaches us is really timeless about how we should treat others in society, how we need to be able to live together. And in fact, I'm thinking much about the words of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who said there's always time to do the right thing. It's always time to do the right thing. And You know, for us, there's so much, as you mentioned, going on in the world today. There's war. We're living through a pandemic that's continuing. There's lots of inequality. And yet, there's always time for us to start and do the right thing. If we go back to the teachings of our ancestors, to Torah and to Talmud, our rabbis taught us, they said, Lo alecha hamlecha ligmor, lo ata ben chorin lehibatel mimena. It's not up to you to complete the task, but you can't say, I'm not going to start, I'm not going to try. And so for all of us, really, that's the message I think that you shared in Kitetse, that we have responsibilities and we have opportunities. We talk about what is a mitzvah, and when you become a bar mitzvah, you become someone who becomes responsible for the mitzvot. And we can translate that word as commandments or obligations, and we might also look at them as opportunities. These are opportunities to do good in the world and to make the world a better place. And the more that I hear from people of your generation, Kai, the more I'm convinced that you are going to do great things to make this world a better place. The more that I see, especially among our young people here at Solel, the good heart that you have, the work that you do to work for justice, caring for others, and not to be afraid to speak up when you see injustices happening. I'm convinced that we do have a good future for our world, even though we live in challenging times. So I'm really delighted to have shared the Bima with you this morning as you celebrated becoming Bar Mitzvah. And I know that a lot of that influence comes from your parents as well, who have been very active and involved in our shul and continue to be. And I know that your sister Samara also is very connected and dedicated to our Jewish life here at Solel. And we look forward to you in a couple of years standing up here on this Bima doing the same. I'm sure Kai will give you some pointers. But we're really, really thrilled that you have now become a bar mitzvah here in our congregation. And as so, you have certain rights and responsibilities and opportunities. So I'm looking forward to continuing learning with you and studying and seeing what gifts you bring to the world, Kai. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
So proud of you. It's my pleasure to call upon your very proud parents who want to share some words of blessing with you as well.
A hearty mazel tov to you, Kai, for working so hard, a year in the making. Daddy and I are really proud of you, and we love you very, very, very much. Thank you, Rabbi and Arlene and where's Emma, for your leadership and support to help Kai to enable him to reach this amazing milestone. Thank you to everyone for being here. We're really happy you can make it. I know some of you came from very far, and we appreciate you coming. It's so great to be together again and to see you all in one space together. Mazel tov.
I'll just reiterate that and say, you know, you're becoming and are an incredible person. And the years ahead are going to be incredible. You know, we gave Kai an option to have a big dinner with big kind of dinner, or go to Israel. And he chose Israel. So we're doing a nice luncheon together so that we can later in the next year go to Israel together. So we're really looking forward to that trip with the family. Thank you.
Mazel tov. And it's my pleasure to call upon Arlene Botnick, our Director of Education, who also has some gifts on behalf of the congregation and who will also offer you some words of blessing.
Hi, Kai. First of all, an amazing job. You're on a journey, and this is just one stop, a very important stop on that journey, and that's that journey to adulthood, to becoming a strong member of the community, a strong Jew. What amazed me today is how far along in that journey you already are. Your understanding of your Torah portion, your relating all of those items to today shows an insight that goes far beyond your 13 or 14 years. I'm not sure what you are at this point. But it is truly an honor to have worked with you, to have seen you in our school. And as the rabbi said, you will be a leader in our community. And we look forward to hearing many, many wonderful things. And with the support of your amazing parents and grandparents and sister, I know you will accomplish great things. So I'm very honored to stand with you on the pulpit and make several presentations to you. First of all, from the women in Solel, a donation has been made in your name to the writing of our new Torah scroll. After 50 years, Solel will be getting a brand new Torah scroll. As well, to the Torah Scroll Fund, a donation has been made by several classmates and one of your teachers, Brad, to that fund. Also from the synagogue and from the teachers and from our religious committee, 2 very special books. One, a Festival of Moskowitz, so you can start using it on Sukkot. And the other is quite a neat book. It's called Al Mezuzot Beitecha, on the doorposts of your house. This will give you an opportunity at home, when you're ready, to do some of those prayers that you've learned so beautifully. So Mazel Tov. Today you are a Bar Mitzvah.
Don't get to sit down quite yet. So we have a minhag, a custom here at Solel, that we invite everyone who has been a guide, a support, a cheerleader, a mentor on Kai's journey thus far, to join us by standing in the congregation, and we sing together the words of Shehachianu. So if you have been a teacher, a mentor, a relative who has guided Kai up to this point, we invite you to stand. And we sing these words of blessing together. Shehachianu says, we thank you for bringing us to this day of joy. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
And Kai, as you see those that have been guides and mentors for you, it's your turn to step up and do that for others as well now. So we look forward to seeing what you can do for us, and the great leadership that has been given to you. All those folks out there, they will continue to be here for you. They have your back.
I have a couple words of thank you that I haven't mind telling you.
All right.
No, we can do that.
Oh, after? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Come sit down.
So please join us now as we turn to the words of Aleinu, page 149. We pray together, when the world will be one and at peace. Back to your chair. Please rise and join with me. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateiz g'dula yotzer b'reshit, asher samcha l'keinu yached et shemo, v'gor l'aynu l'amlich malchuto, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'vodim, lifnei Melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please be seated. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those of our friends and neighbors, and all those people whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall two who died during the past week, Queen Elizabeth II and Hank Lobenberg, former Solelnik and the husband of Renata Krakauer. We are in Shloshim at this time for Alexandra Tzitzias, the sister of Georgia Feynman, and Evan Tzitzias, the daughter of Demetra, the sister-in-law of Daniel Feynman, and the aunt of Joshua and Aaron. Gertrude Katz, the aunt of Marlene Tash and Tom Dennis. Raymond Wong, the father of Crystal Wong Kruger and the father-in-law of Adam, the grandfather of Ephraim, Harmony, and Zane. We recall the following whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death occurs this week. Raymond Lepofsky, the father of David. Ann Tavis, the mother of Peter. Nate Heifetz, the father of Alan. Philip Miller, the husband of Judy and the father of Deborah, the grandfather of Tasha and Nick. Nellie Revson, the grandmother of Shauna Skryslow. Dorothy Benson, the mother of Aubrey. Claire Lewin, the mother of Gail Valentine. Bruce Harper, the grandfather of Zach. Dorelda Morgan, the mother of Horace Brown. And Harry Brothman, the father of Steve, the grandfather of Andrea, Amy, and Emily. If you are saying Kaddish for someone whose name I have not mentioned, I invite you to share their name aloud with us or to hold that name in your heart. We ask the mourners among us to please rise first so that we might say to Min Hamakom Tinachamu, may you find comfort in God's sheltering presence. Now as a community, we all rise to support those who are mourning and to say Kaddish for those who have no one to say it for them. As we turn to page 159, we recite the words hallowed by the generations, the words of the Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mavarach le'alam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha barichu. Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata, tushvachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabin shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol b'nei adam, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, among all the Jewish people, and among all the nations and families of earth. And we say together, amen. Amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure at this time to call upon John Lewson, our president, to bring greetings and announcements on behalf of our board.
Thank you, Rabbi Pollack, and welcome to everyone and to all the guests today. It's wonderful to see so many people in the sanctuary. Kai, Mazel Tov, Yeshakov, that was beautifully done. Loved your Devar Torah. Thank you so much for bringing the relevance of social justice from the Torah to our lives today. That was beautiful, thank you. And Mazel Tov. And Mazel Tov to your family too, to Lara, to Daniel. Samantha, I'm looking forward to your Bar Mitzvah. So I do have some announcements. Also need to thank our tech volunteer, Joel Brown, our shamus, Horace Brown, Emma Weisenbluth was our gabbai, and are we having the chef of learning today? Yes, not. And we have a number of upcoming services that will be live streamed along with our in-person protocol for being at Solel.
So a regular service again next Friday, September the 6th at 8 p.m., Saturday the 17th at 10 a.m., and Saturday, September the 17th. We also have an evening Shlichut service on Zoom. And we're going to be joining with other Canadian Reformed congregations for the special online event, 50 Years of Women in the Rabbinate, a Shlichut discussion on tradition, change, renewal, and redemption, followed by a Zoom Shlichut service and Haftalah featuring Canada's pioneering female rabbis. The special event is brought to you by the Reformed Rabbis of Canada, and you must pre-register to attend the event. So please follow the links in the shamas. And then there's what's happening at Solel. Beit Sefer classes resume tomorrow and Tuesday. On Thursday, we have our regular lunches with Rabbi Pollux. We're starting our Tuesday morning minions again at 7 a.m. Here at Solel. The High Holy Days are coming. And we will be having a High Holy Day food drive from the Mississauga Food Bank. So please check your shamas for details of these. Please also check your shamas for details of Solel's Living Torah project. Be part of writing a Torah scroll. And then to our visitors, if you have any questions or you are a member with something on your mind, please speak to myself or to Emma Weisenberg or to Joel, our board members, and we'd be pleased to answer your questions. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, John. We're delighted to have everyone here with us, and Mazel Tov to Dan and Lara and Samara and all the mishpacha that's here and everyone that's here to celebrate. We're going to conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi, and then we're going to celebrate some more. So I invite you to rise and turn to page 164. We've got Zev ben Shmuel Vabronya, Chai Rezel ben Yaakov Varochel, Sarah ben Abraham ben Malka, who are leading us on page 164 with Kiddush and Motzi for today. And Kai, you can go join them over there. That would be great. All right. So we're going to start on 164 with singing B'Shamru, and then we will go into the bracha for the wine or juice and the challah. V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael HaShabbat La'asot HaShabbat V'Torah Taberit Olam V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael HaShabbat La'asot HaShabbat V'Torah Taberit Olam Ein Yuvain B'nei Yisrael Oti Le'olam V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat V'Torah Taberit Olam Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai Et HaShamayim Ve'et Haaretz V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat V'Torah Taberit Olam U'bayom HaShavi'i Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat V'Torah Taberit Olam. Let's raise a glass for Kiddush.
One. That one. Start with this. One.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam, borei pri hakafeh.
Amen. L'chaim. Teavon. That looks like a delicious challah. I hope there's enough for everybody. All right, Kai and Samari, I want to take some and pass it to everybody. We're going to do a closing song as they're doing that, and then we'll join together. Everyone is welcome to join us in the social hall for lunch. We've done the brachot, so we can eat. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
Everybody's welcome to join us in the hall. We've got lots of food. Please feel free to come.
There you go.